The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions.
The regional offices enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of labor inspection, occupational safety and health investigation, and technical and advisory visit. Special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary.
With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data captured and transmitted from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. Technical and Advisory Visit. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAB. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet.
Establishment owners carry a big responsibility to comply with labor laws, including submitting reports and providing documents like payroll records during inspections. But the manual filing process is a major challenge. They need to spend time, money, and effort to fill out forms and deliver them to the DOLE office, often dealing with traffic and delays. Sometimes, there's a long wait just to confirm if the report is accurate and complete. And it's not just employers facing difficulties. DOLE employees also struggle with limited manpower and the time-consuming task of reviewing and processing these reports. The time has come for change. What's required now is a more innovative, streamlined, and efficient process for handling compliance reports. One that will simplify life not just for businesses but also for DOLE employees. Welcome to the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, your all-in-one platform for seamless compliance submissions, designed to make compliance easier and more convenient for establishment owners. Telecommuting reports? Flexible work arrangement submissions? Reporting the 13th month pay? No problem. Even work accident or illness reports and the annual establishment report on wages, everything you need is now in one convenient portal. Plus, the DOLE Online Compliance Portal now includes the latest requirement for reporting movie and television shoots under Department Order 246, Series of 2024. All your compliance needs in one place, quick, secure, and hassle-free. With the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, registering your establishment is a breeze. Our automatic registration system ensures you are instantly compliant with OSH Standard Rule 1020. Once submitted, your certificate of registration is immediately available for download, saving you time and effort. If your establishment has been flagged for non-compliance during labor inspection, don't worry. Required documents can be submitted quickly and conveniently. And if you're missing certain policies, like a mental health program or OSH program, we've got you covered with downloadable templates. Submit these documents directly through the portal, where DOLE inspectors will review, provide feedback, and keep you on track for compliance. With admin access on the DOLE online compliance portal, the labor inspectors can easily review the submitted reports and documents from the establishments. If further verification is needed, they can schedule an online meeting through Google Meet, all within the portal. This streamlines compliance checks, saving time and making the process more efficient for everyone. It's a smarter, more efficient way to stay compliant and keep your business running smoothly. Welcome to a new era of compliance, simplified, fast, and effective with the DOLE online compliance portal.
Magandang hapon po ulit sa inyong lahat. Welcome to another episode of our Webinar Wednesdays of the Department of Labor and Employment, hosted by the Bureau of Working Conditions. This is Lovely Sabalia, your host for today's webinar. Last week po, para po sa unang episode sa taong ito, diniscuss po sa atin ang bagong addition sa online compliance portal. From the manual submission po ng Construction Safety and Health Program, ginawa na po natin siyang online in compliance of promoting of ease of doing business. So para po sa mga establishment na magsasubmit na kanilang mga CSHP, you may access the online compliance portal through reports.dole.gov.ph. Ngayon po, para sa Season 4, Episode 2, entitled Understanding Monetary Benefits, aalamin natin kung ano ba ang mga additional monetary benefits na dapat matanggap ng mga empleyado on top of their basic wage. Pero bago po yan, let us start with a short prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude for the opportunity to gather in this webinar. We thank you for the gift of technology that allow us to connect, learn, and grow even from afar. We ask for your guidance and wisdom for every speaker and participant so that we may share valuable and inspiring insights. Help us listen with open minds and hearts, eager to learn from one another. Grant us clarity of thought and expression, making our discussions meaningful and impactful. We pray that this session fosters understanding, collaboration, and the sharing of knowledge that benefits everyone. May your presence be felt in our midst, encouraging a spiritual of unity and respect. We trust in your divine wisdom to lead us through any challenges or difficulties we may face today. As we conclude this time together, may we carry forward the lessons we have learned with a renewed sense of purpose and dedication. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Good afternoon po ulit sa ating mga Facebook viewers. Thank you po for joining us today. Paki-heart and like or react naman po sa ating live stream. Please hit the follow button on our Facebook page, Dole BWC 1949, to get updated on the latest announcements and to know more about the labor standards and occupational safety and health standards in the workplace. Paki-share din po itong live stream sa inyong mga friends, family, and lalo na po sa inyong mga colleagues, and use the hashtag Webinar Wednesdays. Para po sa mga questions and clarifications, pwede po kayong mag-comment sa baba. Tapos i-type nyo lang po doon yung mga katanungan po ninyo and i-address po ito ng ating resource speaker after po ng kanyang discussion. So this is the season 4, episode 2 of our webinar Wednesday. Sama-sama po nating alamin ang mga monetary benefits. Ano ba ang mga specific rules on entitlement? Lahat ba ng workers ay covered ng mga ito? At paano i-compute itong mga additional monetary benefits? Alamin po natin iyan at tunghayan. It is a great pleasure to introduce to you our speaker for today. She is a Labor and Employment Officer 3 from the Policy and Program Development Division of the Bureau of Working Conditions. Please welcome Ms. Emeline Fernandez. Good afternoon, Ms. Emily.
Afternoon, Miss Lovely. Salamat sa magandang introduction. And ngayon, ready na po ba ang lahat para matutunan at malaman kung ano-ano ang mga benepisyong nararapat para sa atin? Pa-heart react naman po dyan. So, simulan na po natin itong interesting na usapin patungkol sa ating mga karapatan. Okay. Ang sabi po, ang labor standards are minimum requirements prescribed by existing laws, rules, and regulations relating to, ito daw po ang ating mga wages o sahod, hours of work, allowances, and other monetary benefits, welfare benefits, including those set by the occupational safety and health standards. So, ano po ang mga topic natin for today po? Ano-ano ang mga pag-uusapan natin? Ano-ano ang inyong mga maaaring matutunan sa webinar po natin ngayon? Unang-una po ay patungkol po sa ating mga sahod o wages. Pangalawa, ang ating mga working hours, holiday pay, tamang computation ng holiday pay, premium pay, overtime pay, night shift differential, service charge, 13th month pay, separation pay, at retirement pay. Ready na po ba ang lahat? Simulan na po natin. So, sa usapin ng minimum wage. So, dito po sa NCR o ang National Capital Region, nagkaroon po ng wage order number 26 na nagtatakda na ang NCR po ay magiging 695 pesos ang minimum wage. Ang nagtatakda po ng ating mga minimum wage per region ay ang NWPC po. So, para malaman po natin yung updated na minimum wage per region, you can visit their website po. Just type nwpc.dole.gov.ph. Makikita nyo po doon ang date of effectivity at the same time kung magkano po ang salary adjustment. Ayan po. So usapin ng payment of wages. Kailan daw po ba ito ibinibigay? Ang sabi po natin, once every 2 weeks or twice a month at intervals not exceeding 16 days. Kailan daw po saan daw po ibinibigay ang ating sahod? Ang sabi po ng ating Labor Advisory 26-20, ito daw po ay dapat ibigay sa ating workplace. Payment of wages and other monetary benefits through transaction accounts or bank or e-money. Pwede din daw po yun. Katulad po na lamang ng sa mga ATM cards po natin or pwede din daw po yung mga bank transfer or yung mga palawan po, mga remittances. To whom? Sino daw po ang dapat makatanggap? Walang iba kung hindi ang empleyadong nagpakahirap para dito. So direct to the employee daw po ang ating mga sahod. Unauthorized deductions. So, ito daw po yung mga hindi dapat kinakaltas sa ating mga sinasahod. Katulad na lamang po ng ating mga company uniforms, cash deposits for loss or damage, personal protective equipment. Ito po yung mga ating sinusuot katulad na lamang po for example sa mga construction workers po natin. Yung mga personal protective equipment po nila, yung mga hard hat, yung mga sapatos po nila at the same time yung mga goggles po, yun po ay dapat na hindi daw po idinideduct sa ating mga manggagawa. Susunod po ay capital share or capital build up in service cooperatives, training fees, other deductions not included under Labor Advisory Number 11, Series of 2014. For non-interference in the disposal of wages and allowable deductions, ang general rule po ay no deductions. Siyempre po, meron po tayong exemption dito. Ito po yung authorized by law, including deductions for insurance premiums and union dues, with written authorization of the employee for payment to the employer and to a third person and employer agrees to do so. So ang mga usapin po katulad po ng ating mga monthly contribution sa ating SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig ay inaalaw po ng batas na i-deduct sa ating mga sahod. Hours of work. Based daw po sa ating Article 83 ng Labor Code of the Philippines, ang normal working hours po sa isang araw ay 8 oras. Meron po tayong dapat na 60 minutes na meal break. 5 to 20 minutes na rest period or coffee breaks. 40 minutes lactation period para sa ating mga mommies. Party po yun ng ating RA 10028 or the Expanded Breastfeeding Promotion Act of 2009. Ang sabi rin po natin na dapat magkaroon po ng isang araw o 24 consecutive hours after 6 workdays para sa ating rest day. So for example, ang ating pasok ay from Monday to Saturday, dapat daw po after nung ika-6 na araw, yung pang-7 araw ay rest day na po natin. So yun po yung Sunday. For example po lamang. So, para po ma-identify po natin, ano po ba yung mga compensable po natin o yung po yung tinatawag na bayad? So, ito daw po yung mga oras na iniuukol ng empleyado para sa kanyang employer na itinuturing na oras pa rin po ng kanyang trabaho. Kung ang ginagawang trabaho ay kinakailangan o nakikinabang ang employer o ang kumpanya at hindi maaaring iwan ng empleyado ang kanyang gawain sa pagtatapos ng regular na oras ng trabaho dahil wala siyang kapalit. Ang lahat ng oras na ginugol dito ay maituturing na oras pa rin o parte ng kanyang trabaho kung kaya't dapat ito ay bayad. Ang oras kung saan hindi makakapagtrabaho ang empleyado dahil sa mga pagkaantala ng wala sa kanyang kontrol ay itinuturing na oras ng trabaho kung ang agarang pagpapatuloy ng gawain ay nangangailangan ng kanyang presensya sa lugar ng trabaho. So, yun daw po ang mga dapat bayaran. Compensable po siya. So, maliban po doon, ang iba pa pong sample is yung waiting time ng ating driver. So, kung for example po ang ating driver ay nasa area lang po or nasa premise, and then tinawagan po siya ng kanyang boss, while waiting po sa tawag ng kanyang boss, siya pa rin po ay dapat bayaran kasi po siya po ay on call. So ano po naman yung mga oras na hindi bayad? For example po, ito po yung ating 1 hour break or yung 60 minutes na meal period. So hindi po siya binabayaran ng company. And also po, parte rin po ng kanyang waiting time is, for example, si driver ay naka-on call or waiting time, pero hindi po siya makontak ng kanyang boss para masundo. So, dahil hindi po siya masundo or hindi niya makuha, hindi siya ma-inform o matawagan ng kanyang boss, maari pong yung waiting time po na yon ay hindi po bayad. Another example po dito is yung si empleyado is, for example, nagpunta ng SSS para sa kanyang personal loan. Yun po ay maaring hindi po siya compensable dahil po yung loan po na kanyang ina-applyan or ina-apply ay para po sa kanyang interest. Dahil po yun ay kanyang personal loan at siya rin po yung makikinabang po doon sa bagay po na yun. So, sa usapin naman po tayo ng holiday pay. So, base po sa ating Article 94 ng Labor Code of the Philippines, holiday pay refers to the payment of the regular daily wage for any unworked regular holiday. The benefit applies to all employees except government employees, retail and service establishments employing less than 10 workers, kasambahay and persons in the personal service of another, managerial employees, officers or members of the managerial staff, tsaka po yung ating mga field personnel. So, tandaan po natin na para makatanggap po tayo ng kabayaran sa holiday pay, nararapat po lamang na tayo po ay pumasok or naka-leave with pay sa huling workday bago po ang nasabing regular holiday. Magandang example po dito ay yung paparating na Monday, Thursday, natatapat po sa April 2 at ang Good Friday natatapat ng April 3. Pareho po silang regular holiday. Kaya kung tayo po ay may pasok o ang last workday po natin is yung April 1, which is the Miyerkules Santo, dapat po tayong pumasok doon sa araw na yon para po magkaroon po tayo ng kabayaran sa holiday pay ng Huwebes Santo at Biyernes Santo. Ganon po ang entitlement for the regular pay or for the holiday pay. Last year po, noong September 3, 2025, inilabas po ng ating Malacanang ang Proclamation number 1006 declaring the regular holidays and special non-working days for the year 2026. So, ayan po, nakasaad po dyan sa proclamation na yan, yung ating mga regular holidays, special non-working days, at yung mga additional special non-working days. So ngayon po, may pinagdidiwang po natin ang ating EDSA People Power Revolution Anniversary. So ito pong araw na ito ay considered as a special working day. So ibig sabihin po, ngayon po ay tinitreat siya as ordinary working day. So kung pumasok po tayo ngayon, ang matatanggap po natin ay 100% po ng ating sahod. So kung hindi po tayo papasok ngayon, mag-a-apply po ang no work, no pay. Parte rin po ng proclamation po is nakasaad po siya sa section 2 ng nasabing proclamation. Sa usapin ng Idil Fitr at Idil Adha, ang determination po nito ay base sa Islamic calendar. Ang National Commission on Muslim Filipinos ay magre-rekomenda sa Office of the President para sa aktual na date nito para sa araw po ng selebrasyon. Kaya hindi po siya nakalagay sa proclamation. Premium pay. So, base po ito sa ating Article 91 to 93 ng Labor Code of the Philippines. Ang premium pay po refers to the additional compensation for work performed with 8 hours on rest days and special days. The benefit applies to all employees except government employees pa din po, retail and service establishments employing less than 10 workers, kasambahay, managerial employees, officers or members of the managerial staff, at saka po ang ating mga field personnel. So, ito po, para po sa usapin ng premium pay, during special non-working days, gaya po ng nabanggit ko kanina, no work, no pay po ang principle na mag-a-apply sa araw po ng special non-working days. Pero, kung tayo po ay papasok sa araw ng mga ito, magkakaroon po tayo ng karagdagang compensation na 30% ng ating arawang sahod. For example po, nabanggit ko kanina, yung EDSA po, yung EDSA day natin ngayon is no work, no pay po siya. Pero kahit pumasok po tayo, 100% po lamang dahil base po yun sa ating proclamation number 1006 last year. Ayan, ito na tayo sa mga computations. So, i-differentiate po natin ang holiday pay at saka ang premium pay. So, when it is due? Kailan daw po ang holiday pay? During regular holidays. Kailan naman daw po ang premium pay? Work rendered on a special non-working day or rest day. Okay po. Magkano daw po ang additional compensation tuwing holiday pay? So, ito po ay madadagdagan ng, makakatanggap po tayo ng 100% sa ating basic wage pag holiday pay. Pero pag premium pay po, magkakaroon po tayo ng additional na 30% ng ating basic wage pag special non-working days or rest day po. Pero, kung tatapat po siya sa rest day natin, yung special non-working days ay magiging 50% na po ang idadagdag. So, ano po ang conditions of entitlement? Pag holiday pay po, kailangan present or on leave on the last working day prior to the regular holiday. Sa premium pay po, actual work rendered. Ano daw po ang formula for the holiday pay? Holiday pay is equals to basic wage times 100%. So, for premium pay, basic wage times 130%. Pero, kung ang special non-working day ay pumatak po sa ating mismong rest day, basic wage times 150% po ang computation. So, magkano po ang magiging karagdagang kompensasyon natin pagdating po sa holiday pay? So, madadagdagan po yung sahod natin ng 695 kung nasa NCR po kayo. Ito po ay basihan ay NCR po. So, kung sa premium pay naman po, for special non-working day, madadagdagan po tayo ng 30% which is 208.50 pesos. Pero kung rest day din po natin yon is ang madadagdag po ay 347.5 pesos. So, magkano po ang take-home pay natin with additional compensation during holiday? So, dahil nga po, di ba, double pay po tayo. Magiging 1,390 ang ating take-home pay tuwing regular holiday. Pero pag ang holiday po is special non-working day, makakapag-uwi daw po tayo ng 903 pesos and 50 cents. Pero kung pumasok po tayo ng rest day natin, magiging 1,043.50 po ang ating take-home pay. Yan po, malaki-laki. Kaya talagang iba ang ganado pag iba po yung gana natin pag holiday pay. So, ayan po. Sa usapin ng overtime pay, nakapaloob po ito sa Article 87 ng Labor Code of the Philippines. Ang sabi po dito, ang overtime pay daw po refers to the additional compensation for work performed beyond 8 hours a day. So, ito po, for work done in excess of 8 hours on an ordinary working day, Hourly rate of the basic wage times 125%. For work done in excess of 8 hours on special non-working day or scheduled rest day, ang hourly wage of the basic wage times 169% times a number of overtime work hours. So, pag nagko-compute po tayo ng overtime pay, kailangan po is malaman po muna natin ang ating hourly rate para mas madali po tayong makapag-compute. So, for work done in excess of 8 hours on a regular holiday, hourly rate of the basic wage times 260% times number of overtime work hours. So, for work done in excess of 8 hours on a regular holiday that also falls on a rest day, hourly rate of the basic wage times 338% times number of overtime work hours. So, dapat mahalaga po na alam po natin kung magkano po yung ating hourly rate bago po natin malaman yung additional pay natin for the overtime pay. Night shift differential po, ito po ay base sa ating Article 86 ng Labor Code of the Philippines. Night shift differential refers to the additional compensation of 10% of an employee's regular wage for each hour of work performed between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. of the following day. This benefit applies to all employees except ulit po, maliban daw po sa government employees, retail and service establishments employing less than 10 workers, kasambahay, managerial employees, officers or members of managerial staff, field personnel. Yan. Ibig sabihin po, meron po tayong additional 10% pag pumasok daw po tayo ng 10 p.m. hanggang 6 a.m. So, yung iba po sa atin talagang sobrang sipag. Maliban pa sa ating overtime pay, nagkakaroon din po sila ng entitlement for the night shift differential. Basta kailangan lumagpas po ng 10 p.m. hanggang 6 a.m. po. Ayan. So, ano daw po ang pinagkaiba ng overtime pay at saka ng night shift differential? So, for overtime pay, ito daw po ay work performed beyond 8 hours. Yung lagpas po sa 8 oras. Saka po tayo magkakaroon ng bayad sa overtime pay. Pag night shift differential, ito po yung trabaho natin, pumasok ng 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So, magkano po ang additional compensation? Kung regular work days po, 25%. Per hour po ito ha, ang usapin po per hour. So, pag regular holiday, rest day, and special non-working day, nagiging 30% po ang multiplier po natin. Sa night shift differential po, additional 10% po ng ating sahod. So, ano daw po ang formula? Para po malaman yung ating overtime pay. So, magkano po ang ating hourly rate? Times 125% times ilang oras po tayo nag-overtime. Para malaman po yung payment for the overtime pay. Pero, para po malaman natin ang ating overtime pay during regular holiday, rest day, and special non-working day, hourly rate times 130% times kung ilang oras po tayo nag-overtime. Okay po? Para naman po sa ating night shift differential, yung hourly rate po natin, ita-times po natin siya sa 110% times ilang oras po tayong pumasok during 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Ganun po siya. So, example po, pag ordinary days po, ito po ay, ang basis po nito is yung 695 ng NCR. So, ang hourly rate po natin dito sa NCR ay 86 pesos and 0.875 centavo times 125% times isang oras. Bali po ang ating overtime hourly rate ay 108 pesos point 59. Kakasabay po. Ang saya po mag-compute, no? Sarap mag-compute ng kaperahan. So, ayan po. So, para naman po sa panahon ng regular holiday, rest day, and special non-working day, hourly rate times, ito po ay double pay. So, 200% times 130% times 1 hour. So, 225.88 po ang ating hourly rate during regular holiday. Okay po, nakakasabay po tayo. So, pagdating po sa ating night shift differential, ganun pa rin po. Kailangan ang ating baseline po is yung hourly rate natin na 86.875 times 110% times 1 kung isang oras po ang ating night shift differential. So, 95.56 pesos po ang ating hourly rate during 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Okay po, nakakasunod po ang lahat. Service charge. So, Article 96 as amended by the Republic Act number 11360. Ang sabi po natin, service charge refers to the amount that is added to the bill for work or service rendered. Ito po ay base sa DOLE Department Order 242-24. So, this applies to all employee of covered establishments except managerial employees, regardless of their position, designation, or employment status, and irrespective of the method by which their wages are paid. All service charges collected by covered establishments shall distributed completely and equally based on actual hours or days or work service rendered among the covered employees. So, ito po. Based sa ating DO 242-24, ang covered establishments refers to those that collect service charges for work or services they offered. Ang dinidefine din ng ating department order ay kung sino ang mga managerial employees na exempted sa pagtanggap ng service charge. Sila daw ay yung mga taong may power or prerogative to lay down and execute management policies or hire, transfer, suspend, lay off, recall, discharge, or discipline employees to effectively recommend such managerial actions. So sila po yung managerial employees na exempted for the service charge po. 13th month pay. Ito po ay nakasaad sa Presidential Decree number 851. Ang 13th month pay refers to a 1/12 of the total basic salary earned by an employee within a calendar year. Sino-sino po ang coverage? Sino po ang nararapat na makatanggap? So, sila daw po ay all rank and file employees. Work or service rendered para makatanggap. Para daw po makatanggap at least 1 month during the calendar year. Amount, 1/12 of the total basic salary earned by an employee in a calendar year. So, noong November 15, 2025, naglabas po ang Department of Labor and Employment ng Labor Advisory Number 16 Series of 2025. Ito po ay ang guidelines natin on the payment of 13th month pay. Kasama din po ang ating mga piece rate workers at ang basis ng computation is yung total earnings nila during the year. I-divide po natin yon by 12 at ayun po ang proportionate na kanilang 13th month pay. And also po, please be reminded na ibinibigay po ang 13th month pay on or before December 24. Ito po ay para sa mga active employees. Ayan, ito po ang sample computation po natin sa ating 13th month pay. So ayan, based po sa ating sample, nung January po, wala siyang absent. February, March, walang absent. Kaso po nung April and May, nagkaroon ng company shutdown. So wala po siyang earnings ng 2 buwan. Pagpasok po ng June, may pasok na po siya ulit, pero meron siyang 5 araw na bayad naman doon. Hindi siya pumasok pero with pay naman. So, kumpleto pa rin yung kanyang sahod. July, August, kumpleto pa rin po ang kanyang sahod. Wala siyang absent. Pagdating po ng November, nag-file po siya ng leave, 10 days leave, pero wala po itong bayad. Kaya nabawasan po yung kanyang monthly income. Naging 13,168.75 po dahil po doon sa 10 araw na leave without pay. Pagdating ng October po, wala po siya ulit absent. November, 1 day leave without pay po ulit. And pagdating po ng December, wala po siyang absent. So, para malaman po natin ang 13th month pay, i-add po natin yung total basic salary earned for the year. So, ang total po nun is 189,092.50. Saka po natin siya i-divide sa 12 para makuha po natin ang kanyang 13th month pay na 15,757.71. Okay po? Nakakasabay po? Ayan. Ang employer shall make a report of their compliance through the DOLE online compliance portal. Nakapaloob po sa report dapat ang name of establishment, address, principal product or business, total employment, total number of workers benefited, amount granted per employee, total amount of benefits granted, and name, position, and telephone number of the person giving information. Ito pong report po na ito ay dapat ma-submit not later than January 15 ng taon po. For example po ngayong taon, January 15, 2026, dapat po nakapag-submit na po ang ating mga companies ng mga kanilang report on the compliance po ng 13th month pay. Kapag submit po ba ang lahat? Sana po. Para naman po sa computation ng separation pay, based po sa ating article number 298 to 299 ng Labor Code of the Philippines, separation pay is a compensation given to an employee who is terminated from employment due to authorized causes provided in Article 298 and Article 299 ng Labor Code of the Philippines as renumbered. So, 1/2 month pay per year of service para po sa mga na-retrench, closure or cessation of operation of an establishment, o kaya po disease, nagkasakit po. Para naman po sa 1 month pay per year of service, sila po ay yung mga nasa installation of labor saving devices o sila po yung na-redundant sa trabaho. For the retirement pay, Article 302 ng Labor Code of the Philippines, retirement pay refers to the compensation given to a retiring employee. So, ang ating minimum retirement pay is equals to daily rate times 22.5 days times year o number of years in service. Sino-sino po ba ang cover nitong retirement pay po na ito? Sila daw po yung mga edad 60 to 65 and has served the establishment for at least 5 years. So, what if umabot naman ng 60 to 65 pero hindi po siya umabot ng 5 taon sa kumpanya? So, may mga ganun po tayong katanungan. So, dapat po, para po magkaroon po sila ng entitlement for the retirement pay, kailangan po na pareho po nilang na-meet ang requirement kaugnay sa edad at sa length of service. Okay po. Paano po kinukompute o saan nanggaling ang 22.5 days na binabanggit ko po? Yung 15 days po noon ay salary based on the last salary rate, cash equivalent of 5 days para sa ating service incentive leave, and 1/12 ng 13th month pay. So 15 days plus 5 days plus 2.5 para po sa 13th month pay. Kaya po nabuo ang 22.5 days. So for example po, minimum po ng NCR 695 times 22.5 days times 10 years sa serbisyo si tatay o si nanay. Ang kanyang matatanggap na retirement pay ay 156,375. Okay po, nakakasunod po ba ang lahat? Pwede po kayo nyo lang po sa ating comment section. Yan. Ang Bureau of Working Condition po ay maaari nyong ma-access itong dalawang reference po natin. Ang Workers Statutory Monetary Benefits 2024 Handbook Edition sa ating BWC website para maging batayan o maging guide nyo po sa tamang computation. Yun. At dyan na po nagtatapos ang aking benefits. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Thank you po, Miss M, sa lecture po, sa discussion po on monetary benefits, sa mga additional compensation po na dapat nating matanggap. So, after po ng discussion, syempre may mga question po kayo, may clarifications, pupunta na po tayo sa Q&A. So, eto na, Miss Ems, yung Q&A po natin. So, for our first question, Miss Ems, ang first question is, good afternoon po. Nag-declare po si City namin ng special non-working day ngayon. At pumasok po ako. May premium pay po ba iyon kahit City lang po namin ang nag-declare?
Yan. Opo, meron po tayong entitlement sa ating premium pay dahil nga po nag-declare naman po sa inyong city ng special non-working day kahit EDSA day po siya nationwide pero meron pa rin naman pong declaration ng inyong city as special non-working day. So yes, entitled po kayo sa additional na 30% for the premium pay.
Okay, so malinaw po iyon na kahit po City lamang po yung nag-declare, basta special non-working day, may additional po na 30% para po doon sa mga workers na nagtrabaho. So, for our next question, kapag ang regular holiday ay tumapat sa rest day, dapat bang bayad ang araw ni employee?
Ang titingnan po natin dito ay kung kailan ang last working day. So for example, ang last working day po niya is Friday. Si employee po ay dapat pumasok or on leave with pay sa araw na ito para magkaroon siya ng entitlement sa araw na ng regular holiday na tumapat sa kanyang rest day. So for example, ang kanyang rest day ay Sunday. Parang nare-recall ko last year meron tayong holiday ng Sunday. So ang last work day dapat niya is Friday. Dapat po pumasok po siya noon sa araw na yon or naka-leave with pay para magkaroon ng entitlement for the 100% na holiday pay nung Sunday. Ayan po.
Okay po. So, for our next question, ang uniform po ba ay dapat dinededuct sa mga empleyado? Baka Miss M, mga security guard yung nagtanong. So, dapat po ba dinededuct yung uniform?
Yan. Gaya nga po ng na-discuss natin kanina, hindi po ito dapat idine-deduct. Ito po ay dapat shoulder ng employer. Pero if ever na ang binigay ni employer ay for example, 2 set, pero tayo syempre para tipid sa paglalaba ba, so, magre-request pa tayo ng extra. Yung extra po na uniform is dapat po tayo na po ang mag-shoulder noon dahil hindi na po yun sagot ni employer dahil nga po nagbigay na po siya ng 2 set ng uniform po. So, nasa inyo na po yung pagpapasya kung magdadagdag pa po kayo ng extra maliban po doon sa ibinigay o ipinrovide ni company. So, kayo na po yun at your expense na po yun.
Okay, so add ko lang dito, Miss Ems, pati yung PPE usually kasi 'pag construction worker or kailangan ng PPE ng mga workers, kasama po siya doon sa dapat dapat kasama po siya doon sa mga unauthorized deductions. So dapat, ipo-provide po siya ni employer. So for our fourth question, nag-resign po ako ngayong February 2026. Ang sabi po sa akin ay sa December ko pa daw po makukuha ang 13th month pay ko. Tama po ba yun?
Oh, medyo matagal, February pa lang. So, ilang buwan ka pa maghihintay? Hindi. Pero kasi, lagi po nating tatandaan na yung usapin po ng 13th month pay na ibinibigay on or before December 24, yun po ay applicable para po sa mga active employees. So, dahil po sa concern nyo po na na-raise na nag-resign po kayo ngayong February 2026, base po ito sa ating Labor Advisory Number 6 Series of 2020, ang final pay o last pay, which is our 13-month pay ay included po sa ating last pay, dapat po shall be released within 30 days from the effective date of separation or termination of employment. Subalit, kung may established na clearance po tayo, clearance procedure ang company, ang basihan ng 30 days ay mula sa clearance ng empleyado. Kung wala namang established clearance procedure ang company or company policy, ang basihan ng 30-day period ay mula sa termination ng employment po. Medyo matagal, hindi po pala medyo, matagal po yung hanggang December para sa final pay ng nag-resign ng February po.
Okay po. So next question po is, kasama po ba sa computation ng 13th month pay ang maternity leave?
Yan, magandang tanong kasi talagang maraming nagkakaroon ng kalituhan sa usapin po na yan. So sa usapin po ng maternity leave, hindi po yun kasama dahil ang kinocompute po lamang natin ay yung total basic salary earned within the calendar year. Unless, ito po ha, unless meron po tayong matatanggap na salary differential from the company, iyon po yung makakasama sa computation po ng ating 13th month pay. Yun po.
Okay, i-add ko lang po kasi, kaya po hindi sinasama yung maternity benefit doon sa computation ng 13th month pay. Yung maternity benefit po kasi natin ay nanggagaling po iyon kay SSS. So, benefit po siya, hindi po siya, earnings po talaga na sinahod natin from our employer. So, kaya po yung salary differential just in case po na sa sahod po natin ay may salary differential, yun lang po yung include kasi yun po yung shinolder mismo ni employer na na-earn po natin. So, for our next question, ang 30 minutes overtime po ba considered as overtime? And ano po yung minimum overtime sa private sector?
Yan, 30 minutes na overtime. So, 'di ba nga po kanina na-discuss natin na ang payment of overtime pay ay beyond 8 hours po. So, ang work in excess of 8 hours ay considered na pong overtime provided na ito ay authorized. Authorized overtime work ng supervisor o ng kumpanya. Tandaan nyo po, ito po dapat ay authorized, hindi po yung ikaw sa sarili mo, mag-extend ako ng 30 minutes or 1 hour. para magkaroon ako ng overtime pay. Hindi po ganon. Kailangan po ito po ay authorized or inutos po ng inyong supervisor. Kung sarili nyo pong pagpapasya na mag-extend ng 1 hour, pasensya na po, pero hindi po siya mababayaran ng company. Kailangan po merong authorization. Yun po.
Okay, so next question po. Are employees on floating status entitled to 13th month pay?
Yes po, opo. Entitled po siya sa 13th month pay. Pero po, ito po ay prorated basis. Employees placed on temporary floating status are entitled to 13th month pay corresponding only the periods when they actually work and receive wages during the calendar year. Periods of floating status with no work, no pay are excluded from the computation.
Okay, so next question po. Is there a separation pay due to death? Makakatanggap ba, Miss Ems, yung mga namatay ng separation pay?
Po. Ang separation pay po is a compensation given to employee whose employment was terminated due to authorized causes like retrenchment, redundancy. Ito po yung mga nakapaloob sa aking diniscuss kanina or pwede nyo pong i-visit ang ating Article 298 and 299 ng Labor Code of the Philippines. Pero po kasi sa usapin po ng death, ang death of employee is not considered as an authorized cause of termination of employment. Hence, the employee is not entitled for separation pay unless there is an existing company policy, individual or collective agreement providing such to the employee or the bereaved family members. Ganun po.
Next question po tayo. Good afternoon po. Ask ko lang po, if pwede po ba yung isang fast food franchise ay walang double pay at yung uniform may bayad din na dapat libre na? I think pag regular holiday to, Miss Ems, yung double pay na tinutukoy niya.
Ayan. Ang isang empleyado na nagtrabaho ng holiday ay dapat bayaran ang kanyang holiday pay. Ang company uniform, gaya ng aking nabanggit kanina, ay kabilang sa mga unauthorized deductions. If ang binibigay na uniform ng employer, kagaya ng sample ko kanina, ay 2, so, tas gusto nyo pa pong mag-add ng additional na set, sagot nyo na po yung another set. Pero kung talagang yung pagpasok mo may binigay sa yung uniform pero binabayaran mo is hindi siya tama. Kasi nga po, parte po siya ng unauthorized deductions po.
Okay, so for our next question, paano po yung hindi binayaran ang holiday pay? Siguro paano sila magko-complain, Miss Ems? Anong dapat nilang gawin kapag hindi sila binabayaran?
Opo, talagang yun po. Paano po pag hindi binabayaran ng holiday pay? So, yun po, upang mas maayos na matugunan natin or mas ma-assist po namin kayo, ah, kaugnay po sa inyong concern sa holiday pay, iminumungkahi po namin na kayo po ay lumapit o magtungo sa ating DOLE field offices po para makalapit sa kanilang request for assistance sa ilalim ng single entry approach. Or meron din po tayong online filing sa pamamagitan po ng DOLE e-SENA. So, mas matutulungan at mas maa-assist po namin kayo kaugnay po sa inyong concern patungkol sa hindi pagbabayad ng holiday pay or kahit hindi po tungkol lamang sa holiday pay. Pag may concern po kayong iba na sa tingin nyo nararapat para sa inyo, base sa mga na-share ko po kanina sa aking presentation, is maaari po kayong lumapit sa ating DOLE e-SENA para sa online filing.
Okay, so may pahabol po tayong question kahit tapos na po yung nasa presentation natin. Yung pinaka-last question po natin is the no work, no pay applicable for monthly paid employees?
Ayan, talagang interesting 'di ba yung topic natin, may mga humahabol. So, sa usapin po ng monthly employees natin, naka-factor na kasi yung kanilang, wages sa monthly. So, ang factor nila is 365 days yung payment. So, for the rest days, bayad na sila. So, nakalagay po yoon or makikita nyo po itong usapin patungkol sa ating mga factor sa ating handbook po sa statutory monetary benefits po na makikita po natin sa ating BWC website. So basta po ang ginagamit ng company ay 365 na factor, bayad po siya. So yun po. Daming salamat po.
Okay po. Pero i-ensure po natin na yung 'pag tinawag po kasi nating monthly paid employees, dapat po ang ginagamit na factor ay 365. Dapat po i-make sure na 'pag sinabing monthly, 365 yung factor. But if 261 or 313 po yung ginagamit na factor ng management or ng HR, hindi po siya considered na monthly paid employees, daily paid employees po siya. Ano lang po siya, monthly paid po siyang pinapasahod, pero yung tawag po dun yung factor po nila ay considered as daily paid employees. So, with that, thank you po Miss M sa pagse-share po ng information regarding sa monetary benefits. And sure po ako na ating mga Facebook viewers ay marami pong natutunan sa discussion. Every time po talaga na wages, general labor standards, ang topic talagang active po ang ating mga viewers. So with that, that would be that concludes our today's webinar. Thank you po for sending your questions and for your active participation in our webinar. Any final message po, Miss Ems, para po sa ating mga viewers?
Yan. So ayun po, salamat po sa pagtangkilik ng mga programa ng Bureau of Working Conditions at sa patuloy na pagsuporta. Wag po sana kayong magsasawa na sumuporta sa aming mga programa lalo't ito po ay para sa ating mga manggagawa sa pribadong sektor upang mas higit po natin silang ma-guide sa kanilang mga karapatan at mga responsibilidad bilang manggagawa sa pribadong sektor. Muli, ako po ay nagpapasalamat on behalf po ng aming Bureau of Working Conditions at see you po sa susunod na aming mga Webinar Wednesdays. Salamat po.
Thank you, Miss Ems. And ayan po, since napansin po namin na yung mga nag-a-attend po ng aming Webinar Wednesday ay nagtatanong po lagi sa comment section kung makaka-receive po sila ng Certificate of Attendance. Pwede daw ba silang makakuha ng Certificate of Attendance? Ito na po ang sagot sa inyong mga request. Para po maka-receive kayo ng Certificate of Attendance, we kindly request po everyone to accomplish the evaluation form posted po sa screen. Maaari nyo pong i-scan yung QR code or i-click or puntahan po yung link po na naka-indicate din po sa screen, yung bit.ly/Webinar Wednesday evaluation. Para kung hindi po kasi makakapagsagot dito sa evaluation form, hindi po kayo makaka-receive ng Certificate of Attendance. Please make sure lang po na i-enter nyo po doon sa form yung correct and active email address kung saan po namin ipapadala yung certificate para po ma-send po namin sa inyo. Kasi kung mali po yung i-indicate ninyong email, hindi rin po namin ma-send sa inyo yung Certificate of Attendance. So yun po, dun po nagtatapos ang ating Webinar Wednesday. You may also send us an email at ask@bwc.dole.gov.ph or call our Dole Hotline 1349 para po doon sa mga further questions, clarifications regarding labor standards and occupational safety and health standards. Again, please follow us at DoleBWC1949 on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Viber to stay updated with the latest announcement activities from BWC and Dole. I-share nyo na rin po itong video na ito sa inyong mga friends, families, and colleagues at huwag kalimutang gamitin ang hashtag Webinar Wednesdays para mas marami pa ang maging informed sa mga programa ng BWC ng DOLE at ng aming mga attached agencies para sa kapakanan ng mga manggagawang Pilipino. If you miss any of our webinars, pwede po kayo magpunta sa aming YouTube channel at doon po mapapanood yung Webinar Wednesday episodes from Season 1 to Season 3. On behalf of Bureau of Working Conditions, maraming salamat po sa pakiigsa. See you po sa ating susunod na episode. Once again, this is Lovely Sabaya, your moderator, signing off.
Para sa mga katanungan at karagdagang impormasyon, maaari po tayong tumawag sa Dole Hotline 1349 o sumuni sa mga Dole Regional o Field Office na nakakasakop sa inyong lugar paggawa.